Okay. So, Anyad evahu sambhavad,
अन्यदेव सम्भवात्
Anyad ahur asambhavat,
इति सुषुमा इति
iti
सुषु
sushma
धीरा
dhiranam
धीरा
yenastaj
विचा
chakshire.
विचाचाक्षिरे.
Okay, so Anyad means other, you can say different. Anyad evahu sambhavad. Anyad ahur asambhavat. So let's see. Anyad eva is certainly. Eva, like Harinam, Eva Kevalam, Eva, certainly. Ahu, it is said. This Ahu word is coming in. Ahustvam Rishya Sarve Devarshi Naradastatha. Asito Devala Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Right? Krishna is saying that. Arjuna is saying. That not only you are saying, but all these others. Anyad Eva Ahu Sambhavad. Anyad Ahur Asambhavat. So it is saying, it is said, different results. So the translation is said, it is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. So, yeah, what is this verse is saying that Sambhavad is by worshipping the Supreme Lord, one result is obtained. Anyad ahur asambhavad. If you don't worship the Supreme Lord, another result is attained. Iti sushruma. I heard it. Dhiranam. Dhiranam means those who are not disturbed by material things, material upheavals in this world, who are very steady in their consciousness. Ye nas tad vichachakshire. This is perfectly explained. So let's see. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explain. So what do we say? What is a famous thing? They say, whatever you think is all right. What is it called? Yato?
Yato mattatopat.
Yato mattatopat. Something like that. Oh, whatever you think, all the paths, everything is all right. It all leads to the same goal. There is some philosophy like that. Yato mattatopat. Right? Heard this? So yato mattatopat means, yeah. So whatever you think is all right. I am okay, you are okay. Prabhupada said like that. There is some book or something like that. I am okay, you are okay. Everybody's okay. Prabhupada says, I am okay, you are not okay. So it is not that everything you do, Krishna clearly, any verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, no, different results are obtained by different worship. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitrin yanti pitrin vrataha, bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti madhyajino apimam. Krishna says, Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. Those who worship the Devatas, they go to the Devatas. Those who worship me, they come to me. Twice he says that. Other places also. Antavattu phalam tesham, tad bhavati alpamedasham. Devan deva yajo yanti, mad bhakta yanti mamapi. In that verse also is saying, yes, those who worship the Devas, they go to Devas. Those who worship me, come to me. So it's not everything is same. And if you think that everything is same, then that's an offense. Like in the Namaparad, we say, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. So we say, no, it's equal, same, whatever we chant. It's not, doesn't matter, whatever. So that is called, he becomes a Pashandi. It's described, he becomes an offender. Because there is a philosophy like that. Oh, all this, Durga Devi, Ganesh, everybody, all the Shiva, everybody is actually transformation of the same God who has come in different forms. That's the same God in different forms he has come. Like, there's some philosophy like that. That's why it doesn't matter who you worship, because it's all the same. It's all the one Brahman has transformed into so many different forms. So that is not correct philosophy according to Bhagavad Gita. It may sound very like, all encompassing. It covers everything and nobody's hurt and nobody is like feel bad because whoever you worship, it's all right. So nobody feels anything bad. But Prabhupada didn't say like that. Krishna didn't say like that. In fact, he says those who worship the demigods, their hearts have been stolen by material desires. Kamestestarita jnana prapadyanti anya devata tam tam niyamam asthaya prakrita niyata swaya. And he says those who worship the demigods, they are alpamedashram. They are they are less intelligent. And then he says they are worshipping in a wrong way. Avidhi purvakam, right? That verse also comes in the Bhagavad Gita. So many verses in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is saying it's not all the same. So one result is obtained by worshipping the Supreme Cause. Like if we take a plane to Los Angeles, we'll go to Los Angeles. If we take a plane to New York, we'll go to New York. It's not all the planes are going to same destination. And this is heard from the undisturbed authorities. Means those who are undisturbed authorities means those who are sober. Those who have heard in the parampara, right? Those who are devotees, those who have heard in parampara, those who are sober, not affected by all this material upheavals and turbulences. Means those who are gurus, right? Those who have controlled their senses. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam. Undisturbed. Undisturbed externally and internally. They have urges, but they are not agitated by those urges. So they can think clearly and straight. So he's saying all this is heard, this verse is saying, from undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. Okay, so this is you may have heard all this philosophy that we are. So we should hear the knowledge in what? In a
Parampara.
parampara, disciplic succession. We should not hear from Avaishnavas. There is a verse by Sanatan Goswami. Avaishnava mukhotgirnam putam hari kathamritam shravanam naiva kartavyam sarpochistam yathapaya. It says that Avaishnava mukhotgirnam putam hari kathamritam, that we should not hear hari katha from Avaishnava. Avaishnava means who doesn't believe in his heart actually that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead and the purpose of life is to surrender to him, who does not believe in his heart. There are many people who do kirtan. It may be very nice musical kirtan. There is one famous singer like that, very popular. But he says, no, I don't really believe Krishna exists, but he's very famous. So even though they are doing kirtan, they are doing harikatha, we should not hear from them. That's this verse is saying, Vaishnava mukhotgirnam putam harikatha. Why? Because it is like a milk. Milk is very good, but when serpent touches the milk and leaves its own contribution, then it becomes useless because it leaves its own. So that's why Prabhupada in his famous purport on Hare Krishna mantra, as far as possible, this chanting should be heard from the lips of a pure devotee. He says like that. So it is not about the tune or the voice or all these things. It is about the purity of the person, as Prabhupada says. And that will result in transformation of the heart. One who is chanting for the pleasure of Krishna. And they may have nice voice also, that is there. But the main thing should be, as Prabhupada says, let's read that book. because it is relevant to this. As far as possible, chanting from the lips of non-devotees should be avoided. Milk touched by the lips of a serpent has poisonous effects. So, yeah. So those who may not be pure, but who are aspiring for pure devotional service, who are making an effort like that, then also we can hear from them, because they are not they are not averse to Krishna's instructions. Okay, but the more we hear from the lips of a pure devotee, the more it will have a transformative effect on our consciousness. Okay, so this is what it is saying, that one result is obtained. The system of hearing from undisturbed authorities is approved in this mantra. Unless one hears from a bona fide acharya who is never disturbed by the changes of the material world, one cannot have the real key to transcendental knowledge. So he has to be a bona fide acharya who is never disturbed. That's why we have this verse, Tasmad Guru Prapadyate Jigyashu Shreya Uttamam Samit Panishrotriyam Brahmanishtam. No, that is the other one. Tasmad Guru Prapadyate Jigyashu Shreya Uttamam.
Shabda Pere Nishnatam Brahmani Upashmashu.
That is, yeah, Shabde Pareja Nishnanam. But that other verse is Tasmad Tad Vijnanartham Saguru Meva Vikachet Samit Panishrotriyam Brahmanishtam. That Tad Vijnanartham. So one who is Brahmanishtam means one who is fixed in the absolute truth and is not affected by all this, modes of nature and all these changes like that. So that is undisturbed, and who is fixed in absolute truth, who has given up everything to serve Krishna. Tasmad is Bhagavatam verse. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyate Jigyashu Shreya Uttamam. Shabde Parecha Nishnatam. Brahmani Upashama Ashrayam. Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions, such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead. Leaving aside all material considerations should be understood to be bona fide spiritual masters. Leaving aside all other material considerations means they are anyabhilashita shunyam. They have no other desire. That's so like that. The bona fide spiritual master who also heard the Shruti mantras or Vedic knowledge from his undisturbed acharya never presents anything that is not mentioned in the Vedic literature. So it doesn't say, I think, perhaps it may be like this, perhaps it is like this. So he has heard from his acharya, undisturbed acharya. So parampara, basically. Evam parampara praptam, imam rajarshayo vidu, sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Krishna is saying that this knowledge was received in disciplic successions by the great saintly kings. And this way you can learn this knowledge. So they don't have any personal agenda. Their only business is to give Krishna to others. They have no other thing they want. They just want everybody should become Krishna conscious. And their acharya means three things. First thing is they have realized the conclusion of the scriptures, that is to surrender to Krishna. Second is they are practicing in their life. And the third thing is they are disseminating the knowledge for the welfare of the people. These are the three qualities of an acharya. Of course, we may have bhajananandis who may not be preaching like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. He was not actively, like, but they are also acharyas. So never presents anything that is not mentioned in the Vedic literature. So Prabhupada says you can give realization, you can explain the subject matter, but that doesn't mean that you construe some other meaning out of it by giving some realization. In the Bhagavatam, he writes, there's a purport, which I will find. I should have bookmarked this all. So now I'm remembering. I didn't. Well, I'll find it later, but yeah, here it. So he says, this is in the Bhagavatam. Here he writes, personal realization does not mean that one should, out of vanity, means out of pride, attempt to show one's own learning. Oh, something new thing. One's own learning by trying to surpass the previous acharya. He must have full confidence in the previous acharya, and at the same time, he must realize the subject matter so nicely that he can present the matter for particular circumstances in a suitable manner. Means he can present it like so that the audience, according to the level of audience, he can present it, but he cannot change the meaning or the message. The original purpose of the text must be maintained. No obscure meaning should be screwed out of it. Yet it should be presented in an interesting manner for the understanding of the audience. This is called realization. Okay, so that is what realization is. Okay. So he doesn't change, but he may give analogies and examples to make the subject matter more easily understandable, and personal experiences from one's life. All these things can be given, but he should not come to another conclusion. Then, in the Bhagavad Gita 9:25, it is clearly said that those who worship the Pitras or forefathers attain the planet of the forefathers. That's the verse we were saying, Yanti Deva Vrata Devan, that the gross materialists who make plans to remain here stay in this world, and that the devotees of the Lord who worship none but Lord Krishna, the supreme cause of all causes, reach him in his spiritual sky. Here also in Sri Isopnaishad, it is verified that one achieves different results by different modes of worship. If you worship the Supreme Lord, we'll certainly reach him in his eternal abode. And if you worship demigods like the sun god or moon god, we can reach their respective planets without a doubt. And if we wish to remain on this wretched planet, Prabhupada is saying, if we wish to remain on this wretched planet, means this Martya Lok. Of course, everywhere, everything in the material world is like that. But Prabhupada is saying, and if we wish to remain on this wretched planet, means full of miseries and like that, with our planning commissions and our stopgap political adjustments, we can certainly do that also. So we are trying to make this world a nice place and without Krishna. So we have all these planning commissions, and so we remain here because we remain attached to this material world. Then you come back here. Somebody likes corporate environment, right? They like to work in the corporate job because they become used to it, right? You work for so many years, you enjoy that corporate environment. The next life you come and again be in the corporate environment. Because Krishna is according to our interest and our desires, he is giving us situations. Our desires in our mind, Shrotram Chakshum Sparshanam Cha, Rasanam Granam Evacha, Adhisthaya Manaschayam Vishayanupasevate. In the 15th chapter, Krishna is saying, everything is grouped about the mind. Whatever you get a body, you get a place and everything. So if you want to remain here and we try to um, in this wretched planet, Prabhupada says. We want to just make adjustments and stay here. We can stay here also. Madhya Tishtanti Rajasa. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, 14th chapter, it is said, right? Modes of material nature. Those who are in mode of passion, they remain in the middle planetary system. So if we desire, Prabhupada says, nobody desires to go back home, back to Godhead, because we are too attached to this world. And so in one purport, Srinvatam Swakataha Krishna. And in that purport, Prabhupada says, most of us don't desire because we are too much attached in this material world. Even though it is miserable, it is full of birth, death, old age, disease, and all the miseries. We don't want to go back. Like Prabhupada gave the example of Yuri Gagarin, right? He went into space, the Russian astronaut, and then he says, oh, where is my Russia? Where is my Russia? He's looking. Prabhupada says like that. So they want to go there, but they want to come back here because they are attached to this. Like that, he would say. So in this Shinvatam Sokata Krishna verse, Prabhupada is saying, most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all respects. But we cannot only desire, we have to deserve. They say first deserve, then desire. Of course, desire, like I want to be this, I want to be that. I can daydream, right? I want to do. But you have to be deserve also, right? Means you have to prepare your consciousness for that. So you have to work also. You have to be qualified. Not only by desiring, but you have to make yourself eligible. So we have to purify our consciousness. Only then we can go back. And that's the main thing, is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Kaler doshe nide rajan asti hi eko mahan guna. Kirtanadeva Krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajit. Yes, Kali Yuga, big problems, but this one good quality. So if we don't even chant Hare Krishna, then how will we go back? Okay. Nowhere in authentic scriptures it is said that one will ultimately reach the same goal by doing anything or worshipping anyone. So Prabhupada is going to criticize, I think, this, that yatomat tatopat. Such foolish theories are offered by self-made spiritual masters who have no connection with parampara, the bona fide system of disciplic succession. The bona fide spiritual master cannot say that all paths lead to the same goal, and that anyone can attain this goal by his own mode of worship of the demigods or of the Supreme or whatever. Any common man can very easily understand that a person can reach his destination only when he has purchased a ticket for that destination. So you have to pay also. But we say that what is the price to pay is our intense desire. There's a nice lecture by Keshav Maharaj on desire management. Desire management. So first of all, everything is based on desires. So we have to intensify our desires, which will make us more Krishna conscious. And we have to slacken those desires or give up or ignore those desires, which that is in our hand. That's in our hand. Nothing else is in our hand, except that we can desire, and that intensity of desire we have to increase, right? That's the main thing. We have to make it tivra. Tivra means intense. And Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati Kriyatam Yadi Kuto Api Labhyate Tatra Laulyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukritir Na Labhyate. The price to get Krishna is the intense greed, desire. Like we do so much, right, for establishing a material career. We work so hard and so much dedicated. So for Krishna consciousness, we should And when we have to develop a career, right, we drop everything else. All that is not required. We have to eat and do whatever we have to do. But we stop seeing movies, we stop going to for vacation, because I have to be focused on my goal. Otherwise, I will not achieve my goal. So in the same way, in we give away all other desires when we have to get into some entrance exam or something like that. We want to because we know we are going to compete with so many other people. So we drop everything else and we make that desire very intense. So that such a person may succeed. But of course, it is limited by karma, because even you work very hard, if your karma is not there, you may not get what you want. But in spiritual life, if you have a strong desire, you can achieve. Krishna reciprocates. Krishna actually is very eager, as Prabhupada says. He is very eager, more eager than we want to go, more eager to connect with us than we are eager. That's why Prabhupada says, if you take one step towards Krishna, Krishna will take 10 towards you, because he is so eager to connect with you. So like that, we have to increase our, and how do we increase that? By coming in association with those who have that intensity of desire. Those who really, really want to go back home, back to Godhead. Those who really, really want to become pure-hearted. Those who really are vyavasaitmika buddhi. By you coming in contact with those, then you will become like that. So, association and reading Prabhupada's books every day. We should read, because Prabhupada is most vyavasaitmika buddhi. Is the most, so much focused. So we are associating with him by reading his books. And then he's giving us all the scenarios, right? What is going to happen if you go here, if you go there? What are the problems with material existence? And so our intelligence becomes very strong by reading Prabhupada's books, the words of a pure devotee. And then we decide one day, yes, only Krishna, nothing else. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Someday we'll come to this point. All of you are already there. Yeah, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Nothing else but Krishna's service. No other this and that, no other so many distractions, this and that. No. So one becomes very fixed up. We say fixed up devotee, right? Fixed up means is very like one-pointed in his goal. He doesn't waste time. That's the hallmark of he doesn't waste time in anything that will not bring him closer to Krishna. Okay. Because he knows life is temporary. He has understood, I'm going to die. So there is nothing worthwhile, really, in this world to achieve, because I have to leave everything behind one day. So only Krishna. So like that. Any common man can very easily understand that a person can reach his destination only. Of course, it's saying one thing and realizing is different. So any common man can very easily understand that a person, so he does whatever is necessary, as much as necessary in this world to just go by. But his main focus is how to become Krishna conscious. So he does not compromise in his sadhana like that. He's very attentive. Just like there is a verse, Vichayani Vicharyani, Vichintyani Puna Puna. Kripanasya Dhana Iva, Dhana Niva. What is that verse? Vicharyani, Vicharyani. Kripanasya Dhana. Tvam Nama Bhavantuna, something like that. Which.
Yeah, miser.
Vichayani Vicharyani.
Naryani vichintayani puna puna kripanasya dhanani va tvannamani bhavantuna.
This is saying, just as a miser, considering his wealth more dear to him than his very life, wholly absorbs his life himself in how to increase his precious possessions. And at the same time, he hides his riches from his friends and family members out of fear that they will steal them. Similarly, O merciful Lord, may I collect your innumerable, supremely enchanting names and always be completely submerged in deliberating on this invaluable wealth in a secret place. So the miser also hides his money so nobody will take it away. He doesn't tell, oh, I have this much money. Because people will ask him, oh, you have so much money, why don't you give some donation? So he hides his bank balance. He doesn't tell anybody. Of course, the devotion wealth nobody can steal because other material wealth can be stolen. But he's always very attentive to his bank balance, how his money is increasing, what can he do. The miser is always thinking like that, counting, collecting, remembering. So similarly, one should count, collect, and remember the holy names, the Lord. So because there is a taste in earning money. So same way, when we get taste, then we say, why chanting only? Why we have to put our bead bag at 16 rounds? Some of you are chanting. So we should chant more and chant nicely, right? If you chant nicely, only then you will get taste. If you chant badly, just to finish somehow or other, sometimes we see, right? We are chant, or I'm doing like we are chanting, then we talk a little bit in between. Then when we are talking, then we are stop, we are holding our beads. Then when another person talks, then we start chanting. Then we talk, and then when another person talks, then we start chanting. We are hearing like so many things what they are saying. So it's like somehow or other we are getting through. That kind of thing will not give taste, because Rupa Goswami says, "Kintva adarad anudinam khalu saiva jushta." Oh, you have to do with great attention, great respect. Adara, not after you chant your rounds, 16 rounds, then you can chant however you want, but at least that 16 rounds we should chant nicely. So then we will get taste, and then we like to chant, then we will feel like, yes, Krishna consciousness is so wonderful. And yes, I will then dedicate my life. Like when you get taste, then you dedicate your life like that more and more, your time more and more, and more service you do like that, all this. So any common man can very easily understand that a person can reach his destination only when he has purchased a ticket for that destination. A person who has purchased a ticket for Calcutta can reach Calcutta, but not Bombay. It was called Calcutta before, not Kolkata and Bombay, not Mumbai. But the so-called spiritual masters say that any and all paths will take one to supreme goal. Such mundane and compromising offers attract many foolish creatures who become puffed up with their manufactured methods of spiritual realization. The Vedic instructions, however, do not uphold them. Unless one has received knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master who is in the recognized line of disciplic succession, one cannot have the real thing as it is. So unless we have heard from a bona fide source, and like Prabhupada, when we hear, then our inspiration grows. All of us came by reading Prabhupada's books, right? We are reading every day. So Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarsya vidu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it appears to be lost. When Lord Sri Krishna was present on this earth, the Bhakti Yoga principles defined in the Bhagavad Gita had become distorted by the influence of time, yoga nashta. Therefore, the Lord had to re-establish the disciplic succession, beginning with Arjuna, who was the most confidential friend and devotee of the Lord. Sa eva mayate adya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam etaduttamam. Krishna is telling Arjuna, I am telling you this knowledge because you are my bhakta. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. You are my friend. So Krishna is, we have to be Krishna's friend. Krishna is already our friend. Bhuktaram, we are talking about this. Bhuktaram yadna tapasam. Sarva Maheshwaram Suridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shanti Mrichati. Krishna is already saying, I'm your friend. We have to become friend of Krishna. So, Sakhyam, right? Sakhyam. Arjuna is a Sakha. Sakha, we give the example of Sakhyam Arjun. So, when we become friend of Krishna, means we have a friend, real friend means we have interest of our friend at heart. That is a real friend. If I'm your friend, then I have your interest in my heart. So I like to see you very happy and very. So the friend wants to see Krishna very happy, his friend very happy. Krishna is in anxiety. Why? Because all the jivas in this material world have separated from him. So a friend, if you're a good friend, they will relieve your anxiety, right? When you are in anxiety, they'll give you solace. So the friend of Krishna, he will bring others to Krishna and that way relieve the anxiety of the Lord. And so such a person becomes very dear. So Krishna is the friend of everyone, but we have forgotten. Everybody in the material world, not devotees, we are now trying to revive. But everybody has forgotten their real friend, Krishna. Prabhupada says Krishna is the only friend. Right? We are reading that purport in the morning. So he is our friend and he's ready to help us. And we can always turn to him. In this world, we have friends and they have their own problems, right? They don't have time or they don't have the means to help us, right? But Krishna is not limited by any such things. So he can help. He can reciprocate with you. He can reciprocate with millions of people simultaneously and, not feel exhausted. So that is, if everybody is demanding our attention, so many, we cannot, I cannot do so many things, so many people. Our resources are limited, Prabhupada says, how much we can help. But Krishna is the friend in the heart and he's always with us. He's in our heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddeshu arjuna tishtati. Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudani maya. Sarvasya chaham ridhi sannivishto matasmitir kyaram apohanam cha. So Krishna is in our heart. And wherever we go, our friend is with us. Krishna is in our heart. So the Lord clearly told Arjuna that, and one day he will reveal himself outside also. The Lord clearly told Arjuna that it was because Arjuna was his devotee and friend that he could understand the principles of Bhagavad Gita. So he is a well-wisher. Arjuna is a well-wisher. He's not envious. In the 9th chapter also, Krishna is telling, idam te guhyatamam pravakshyami anusuyave. He says, I am telling you this guhyatamam. Why? Because you are anusuyave. You are not envious of me. So not only not envious, he's the well-wisher. So we have to become the well-wisher of Krishna. Well-wisher of God? Yes. We have to become well-wisher of God, not envious. The Lord clearly told Arjuna that it was because Arjuna was his devotee and friend that he could understand. That's why Krishna is telling, we only tell our secrets to our friends who are very close to us. We tell about ourselves. Rahasyam etad uttamam. Krishna is saying, this rahasya of Bhagavad Gita, I am telling you because you are my friend. Of course, it isn't open, it is in the book, but only those who become friends of Krishna, those who have devotion to Krishna, they will understand this. That's why it is rahasya. Otherwise, it's not rahasya. All the verses are there in the Bhagavad Gita. Openly, Bhagavad Gita is sold. In other words, only the Lord's devotee and friend can understand the Gita. This also means that only one who follows the path of Arjuna can understand the Bhagavad Gita. So knowing that Krishna is our friend, we should feel solace. That, yes, my friend is there. He will help me. Morning, we were telling the story of that boy, right? Who was, of course, there's a different story, but anyway, who had to bring something from his home, but for the function in the school, but his mother was very poor, and so she could not give anything. And mother told Gopal will help. And so if we Krishna is our friend, so he will give us whatever we need, not what we want, but whatever we need, so that we will remain his friend, will not forget. So at the present moment, there are many interpreters and translators of the sublime dialogue who care nothing for Lord Krishna or Arjuna. So they have interpreted. Such interpreters explain the verses of the Bhagavad Gita in their own way. So they've given, when Krishna says, Man mana bhavamat bhakto, always think of me, become. It is not Krishna who is speaking. It is the unborn Brahman who is speaking through Krishna. And that is the unborn Brahman speaking through Krishna to whom we have to surrender. So they give some interpretation like that and postulate all sorts of rubbish in the name of Gita. Such interpreters believe neither in Sri Krishna nor in his eternal abode. So they have no faith in Krishna or the spiritual world. How can they explain the Bhagavad Gita? Krishna clearly says that only those who have lost their sense of worship, who lost their sense, worship the demigods for paltry rewards. Ultimately, he advises that one give up all other ways and modes of worship and fully surrender unto him alone. Sarva dharman parityajya. Sarva dharman. Normally we would think sarva adharman parityajya, because we have to give adharma. But Krishna is saying sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all varieties of dharma, means all dharmas that we have in relationship to our body. So many dharmas we think. Krishna is saying, give up everything and just surrender to me. Kula dharma, this dharma, that dharma, so many dharmas. Just surrender to me. Just take my shelter. He's saying like that. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. You have manufactured so many duties based on your misidentification with the body. Of course, as long as you do your duties in relation to Krishna, it's okay. That's also service to Krishna. But otherwise, all these duties we have manufactured, we are identifying with this body. And so many lifetimes we have identified with this body. And it's continuing our existence in this material world. So he's saying, give up all these conceptions, all this, and just surrender to me, take my shelter. And that's we say the Charam Shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Only those who are cleansed of all sinful reactions can have such unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Only those who have acted, those who are free from sinful life, they can engage in Krishna's service with determination. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam. And those who have done punya karma means those who have done transcendently pious activities. Those who are playing with Krishna as friends of Krishna, they have amassed heaps of transcendental pious activities. They have done so much devotional service in the right consciousness, not only quantity, but the consciousness. And they have come to the state of playing with Krishna as friends. So, so only those who are cleansed of all sinful reactions can have such unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. So because of the sinful reaction, anarthas are generated. And those anarthas, because of those anarthas, nishtha is not coming. Right? We say anartha nivritti, then nishtha comes. So because of all the anarthas in the heart, which is related to material enjoyment and all this desire for name, fame, all this, kutinati and all this, so many, la, puja, pratishtha and all these things, asatrishna, hridaya daurbalyam, all these are described. That is why the nishtha is not coming. So because of all, and why those anarthas there? Because we have done so many sinful activities and our consciousness has become contaminated by this. So only those who are cleansed of all sinful reactions can have such unflinching faith that Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kohe Shudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. If I serve Krishna, everything else is achieved. This is the highest thing. That faith, is not coming, that unflinching faith, because when we have sinful reactions and our life is like that, others will continue hovering on the material platform with their paltry ways of worship, and thus will be misled from the real path under the false impression that all paths lead to the same goal. So they will stay in the material world with the wrong philosophy. And Prabhupada is saying that they'll continue remaining in this Mrityu Sansara Vartmani. Krishna says those who are not faithful on this path of devotional service, the 9th chapter, right? Ashraddha Dhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Sansara Vartmani. They come back on the path of repeated birth and death. In this mantra of Sri Isopnaishad, the word Sambhavat, by worship of the Supreme Cause, is very significant. Sambhavat, generally Sambhava means possibility, right? But here it's saying Sambhavat, Prabhupada said in the Vedanta Sutra, is saying, where is it? Sorry, I lost my link. Yeah. Sambhavat, by worship of the Supreme Cause, is very significant. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and everything that exists has emanated from him. And those who know him in truth, aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate, iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Those who are intelligent, buddha, those who have buddhi, they will serve Krishna with all their hearts, with bhav. Bhav means some emotion, with feeling. They will dedicate their life. Those who know Krishna's position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Here is a correct description. So, we'll just finish this. Of the Supreme Lord given by the Lord himself. The word Sarvasya Prabhavaha indicate that Krishna is the creator of everyone, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And because these three principal deities of material world are created by the Lord is creator of all that exists in the material and spiritual worlds. Aham Adir Hi Devanam. Krishna says, I am the source of all the demigods. Everything comes ultimately from Krishna. In the Atharva Veda, Gopal Tapani Upanishad, it is similarly said, he who existed before the creation of Brahma and who enlightened Brahma with Vedic knowledge is Lord Shri Krishna. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavai. Similarly, the Narayan Upanishad states, so Adi Kavaya is Brahma, not Brahma. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaya. Adi Kavi is Brahma, and he imparted the knowledge. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaya. Similarly, the Narayan Upanishad states, then the Supreme Person Narayan desired to create all living beings. That's from Narayan. So from Krishna, Narayan comes. Right? We know the Purusha avatars. And Narayan, the 4 quadruple expansions and all this come. So Narayan desired to create all living beings. Thus from Narayan, Brahma was born. Narayan created all the Prajapatis. Narayan created Indra. Narayan created the 8 Vasus. Narayan created the 11 Rudras. Narayan created the 12 Adityas. Since Narayan is a plenary manifestation of Lord Krishna, Narayan and Krishna are one and the same. That Brahma Samhita verse is there. Deepar Chireva Hidasantaram Abhyupetya. Right? That just like one candle lights other candles, but they are all the same in illumination, in one sense. Of course, we know Krishna has more qualities than Narayan, but they are all Vishnu Tattva. The Narayan Upanishad also states, Devki's son, Krishna, is the Supreme Lord. The identity of Narayan with the Supreme Cause has also been accepted and confirmed by Sripad Shankaracharya, even though Shankara does not belong to the Vaishnava or personalist cult. Even Shankaracharya, Mayavadi school, he has admitted Narayano Paravyaktat. So, and Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. The Atharva Vedas also states only Narayan existed in the beginning when neither Brahma nor Shiva nor fire nor water nor stars nor sun nor moon existed. Then we may think, well, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there was never a time when I did not exist, when all these kings did not exist. So aren't we all spirit souls? We all existed all the time. Yes. But still our source is Krishna. The Lord does not remain alone, but creates as he desires. Krishna himself states in Moksha Dharma, I created the Prajapatis and the Rudras, those who do not have complete knowledge of me because they are covered by my illusory energy. It is also stated in the Varaha Puran, Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him the four-headed Brahma was manifested, as well as Rudra, who later became omniscient. Thus, all Vedic literature confirms that Narayan or Krishna is the cause of all causes. In the Brahma Samhita, it is also said that the Supreme Lord is Shri Krishna, Govinda, the delighter of every living being and the primeval cause of all causes. The really learned persons know this from evidence given by great sages in the Vedas, and thus they decide to worship Lord Krishna as all in all. Such persons are called Buddha, or really learned, because they worship only Krishna. So Krishna also wants exclusive worship. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Ekam, he says. The conviction that Krishna is all in all is established when one hears the transcendental message from the undisturbed Acharya with faith and love. So how we can come to this conviction? By hearing from the great souls. One who has no faith in or love for Lord Krishna cannot be convinced of this simple truth. Those who are faithless are described in the Bhagavad Gita as mudas, fools or asses. So there is also faithlessness, there is little faith, little Shraddha, Komal Shraddha, then there is a little bit more Shraddha. So there is a whole gradation from faithlessness to complete faith. There's a whole spectrum. So depending on our faith is in the Lord, is how much advanced we are. So we have Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. It's all based on faith also. So we have faith, but Prabhupada has even more faith, right? We have little faith, or somebody has more faith. So it is said that the Mudas deride this personality of God because they do not have complete knowledge from the undisturbed Acharya. So it is faith, means is it just a belief? No, it is actually true. For great souls, Krishna is not like maybe he's there, maybe he's not there, who knows, like they can actually perceive. One who is disturbed by the whirlpool of material energy is not qualified to become an Acharya. So one who is disturbed by the whirlpool of material energy is not qualified to become an Acharya. Means one who is disturbed by all the ups and downs of this material world and disturbed by all the urges, the Vegas, is not qualified to become an Acharya. Okay, it's a long purport. So we'll divide it, I think. So we'll stop here and see if they have any comments on whatever Prabhupada said. Any comments, anything that I may have missed also, if you want to share. It is straightforward Krishna consciousness philosophy. Prabhupada said one time, Krishna consciousness means three things. I am spirit soul. I am spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. I am servant of Krishna. So first of all, Krishna is God. I am spirit soul, servant of Krishna. So my duty is to serve him. That's it. Nothing else. These three things he said one time. Bas, finished. Finished. Krishna consciousness over. But to come to that, of course we know, we say theoretically, but to come to that realization that yes, I am servant of Krishna and I will dedicate my life, surrender to Krishna. That takes time. So we hear the same philosophy again and again so that we can become more and more convinced. Otherwise, these three things ultimately is the essence of all the Krishna consciousness philosophy. Okay, so would you like to say anything? Is anybody there?
Yeah, we are there. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class.
It's all Prabhupada's mercy. So anything else? Anybody has any? Okay, so we have to stop here. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.